Hello, Stephen here. In this video, we are going to be treating the rectangular array, the polar array, and the path array. Now, to access the rectangular array, you go to your Modify Panel Home tab, and you check here, check the flyout. What you see is rectangular array, path array, and polar array. When you click on rectangular array, you're ready to create a rectangular array. Well, to create an array, and select an object. Now, what does an array do? An array creates multiples of an object in rows and in columns for a rectangular array. So let's select our object. Let's select this as our object. Now, we select our object, we enter, and a new window pops up on our ribbon, permitting us to select the options within the rectangular array. So what these options do, they help us to manipulate the rectangular array we've created. You can see the first option here says column. So if you want to increase the number of columns, probably from 4 to 6, you can do that. And if you check your rectangular array created, it has edited the columns to 6 from 4. Now you can increase the space or decrease the space in between columns. You can increase or decrease the space for the total columns to be created. You can edit the rows. Currently, we have 3 rows. You could change it to 2 if you want to reduce the rows. And you can see the first row has disappeared. Now, you can increase the levels, but the levels is mostly visible in 3D. So currently, it's just a level. Or if you select, let's say, 2 levels, for instance, we have to convert this to 3D before you can see how the levels are piling up on each other. Now, there's an option which says associative. Now, if your associative is on, it means you can still edit this rectangular array even after you're done and you close the array using this option. You can still edit it. But if you don't want to edit it after this editing process, you can just make sure that the associative is unchecked and each item within the array becomes an individual item again. Or if it's checked, each item is associated with another item within the array. So they are still one and they don't change. So that's it for rectangular array. So for your polar array, what you do is it creates an array in a circular format. That's what the polar array does. So if we go to our Modify Panel, Home tab, click on the flyout for where you find rectangular array, you have path array and you have polar array. So if we select polar array now, we're ready to create a polar array. Polar is usually circular in form, right? So to create its array in a circular form. To select the object, first of all, you select your object, you enter, and it's asking you to select the center point. The center point will be very random. It will even be outside here. You can click here and it would create the circular array with reference to this. But I just want to use this circle as a reference and the center of the circle here. This is active because we have this on, which is called the show snapping reference lines. So the snapping reference lines are currently visible and you have the snap cursor to 2D is currently visible. When you click on the drop down, you notice that midpoint for an object is visible and center for a circle is also visible. That's why this is active. Now for the reference point, you can see this green line that goes straight. These are the reference point that it's snapping. Can you see? It's snapping the reference point for each point to make sure that you get a perfect horizontal or vertical line, or you can draw something with reference to a particular point within your drawing. So now we select this as our center and you can see that the array has been created. And if you check the ribbon, an editing window pops up. So the first here, it says number of items. You can increase the number of items to say 10 and enter. And what happens? The number of items increase to 10. You can increase the angle between these items, right? You can increase the angle between these items because it's in a 360 degrees format. So it's currently 36 degrees per item. That's from the center. So if we say we want our angle to be above 36, definitely they have to overlap. So if we say 45, for instance, what happens? It doesn't check because they would have to overlap for it to be visible, right? 36 is the best you can have for the angles when you have 10 items. So you check the rows. For the rows now, you want to increase the number of rows, let's say rows to 3. Increase the number of rows to 3. You can notice that the rows have increased to 3. And you see that the rows have increased to 3, and you can still manipulate this further, right? Now, to increase the space between the rows, you can click on this gizmo and just drag it. What happens? The space between the rows is increasing. That's from this center point to the next row, the space is increasing, right? And you click here and drop. And if you want to increase the space further, you can still do that. This would help you increase the number of rows for these items. So if you do this and you get to the point where the distance is adequate, it creates another row and it keeps creating more rows, right? That's what it does. Then if you click on this and you drag, you are repositioning where the array has been created. You can see it's leaving its original position and it's moving to somewhere else, right? Well, let's escape. Now, before let's drop it back in its position. Now let's check the ribbon. What does it say? It also says level. I remember telling you that for level is for 3D. When you create more levels, you can only visualize it in 3D format. Now, if associative is on, it means by the time you close this array, you can still edit it as every single item within the array will still be taken as one. But if associative is off, you cannot edit this array. So let's try something. Leave associative on and let's close this array and see what happens. Now, array is closed. Now, select one item within this array and see what happens. Then every single item within the array is selected. And if we make sure that our associative, associative permanently on, so you can see that you can always edit. But if it's this way and you still want to make sure that every single item is in an individual format, you can close and still do that. We select this, select all the items and explode them. When you explode it, when you explode the items, they become individual items and they aren't a collective unit again. So let's do that and see what happens. When you explode it, so when you explode the objects, what happens? They become individual objects again. Select one and see what happens. It's just a single object this time around, no longer associated with the other objects within the array. So let's check out what part array does. So for part array, I remember a student of mine brought this question to me and wanted to tackle it, which part array can really solve, right? It's trying to create an animal with teeth within the mouth. So part array can do this. You already have your oval shape like this, and you have your item, which you want to create a part array for. Now you go to your modify panel, home tab, and you click on your part array. So what do? Zoom in, select your object as this is our object, then we enter, and now we want to select the parts. Select part curve. So we select this as our part. Did you just see what happened? So this has been edited accordingly, and you can see that the object has gone round this path, right? So in essence, that's what part array does. And if you click on this, since it's still associative, you can still edit it from the ribbon. So that's it for that. You can just go through this and see how much more you can do with the part array, the rectangular array, and the circular array, which is polar array. Thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to subscribe and click the like button.